Welcome back. You're watching the 80 Money Show with me, Pvt.Ltd. Now there are plethora of funds available in the market to invest your hard-earned money. But how do you assess which is the right fund for your portfolio? What are the criteria that one should look at? To help you navigate through this maze, we have on board Hemant, Rustagi, Wiseinvest advisors. Also, do not forget to send us your portfolio queries on our WhatsApp number, which is 865-797-4571. You can email us your queries on the money show at 80now.tv. Good evening, Hemant, and welcome to the show. And I think we already have our first viewer connected from Hyderabad, Chandrasekhar. Hi, good evening, Chandrasekhar. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so you want to know about Axis Mutual Funds?
Yes. I am holding a portfolio which contains about 30% of funds from Axis Mutual Funds actually.
Okay, so your problem is not with the funds but with the AMC. You want to figure out if...
AMC.
Okay.
That AMC I have distributed in 3 funds. One is Axis Blue Chip, which is 14% of the total portfolio.
Okay.
And Focus is 25, that is about 10%.
Okay.
And Axis Long Term Equity, which is about 6%.
Okay.
The whole together is about 30% of the total equity portfolio.
Okay.
All of them are doing well till recently, but for the last 2 years there is a decline in the return.
Got it. All right.
So what is your guidance whether I stay put on these funds or not?
Sure, we'll help you with that. So Hemant, 3 funds from Axis Mutual Fund he has, and he's slightly unhappy with the fund's performance also.
Well, Kavita, I think he's absolutely right. I think all the 3 funds were doing very well. Maybe for the last 1.5 years, they have not been doing well. So there are 2 important aspects here. One is the performance of the funds that he's invested in. And second is, holding almost 30% of the entire portfolio in a single AMC. So I think these are 2 important aspects for any investor. So let me just address the performance part. See, what has happened is, if you look at 2 funds, Axis Blue Chip and Axis Focus 25, the portfolio quality is very good. There are 2 issues there. One is that they take a concentrated bet. Like if you look at Focus, the top 10 will be around 65% of the corpus, and the Blue Chip will be top 10 will be around 60%. Now what has happened is, when you take a concentrated bet and the top companies are not doing well, it will show in the performance, and that is what exactly has happened with Axis. Some of the companies I tell you, which are high quality companies, but for various reasons they have not done well during this period. For example, there is Bajaj Finance, there is Bajaj Finserv, there is Infosys, there is TCS, there is Avenue Supermart, there is HDFC Bank. All these are quality companies, but they have not done well. Obviously, the philosophy of the fund is to stay invested in the quality company, continue with the focus approach. That's why you're seeing the underperformance. So my belief is that a good quality portfolio always makes a comeback. This is a portfolio which maybe you can give them another 1 year, and I'm sure, I'm quite confident that they will start doing well and they will compensate you for the period that they have not done well. But the problem is that 30% exposure to one AMC, especially in equity, I can understand different asset classes, but in the same asset class, I think that's too high. So Chandrasekhar, my recommendation would be to bring it down to maybe around 15% or at most 20%. So what happens then? You don't have a concentration risk, because what happens is the fund house philosophy, if it is not doing well, it will not do across certain funds, and which is what is happening here. So the portfolio quality is good. It's just that there's a concentrated bet and these companies have not done well, which I'm sure these are quality companies that start doing well, but bring your exposure level down to 15 to 20%.
Chandrasekhar, anything else you want to ask?
Nothing, I think. So quite aptly answered. I will try to reduce that exposure from 30% to 20%.
Sure. All the best. Next up, we have Varun Thakur from Shimla, Himachal Pradesh online. Varun, hi, good evening.
Hi. Good evening, ma'am.
How are you doing? Is it too cold out there, snowing?
No, it's not yet.
Not?
But it's too cold here.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we are reading. All right. So you have a couple of funds in your portfolio, almost 5 funds?
Yes, ma'am.
And
5 funds.
Okay. What's the time horizon that you want to hold on to these funds?
Till my retirement for 20 to 28 years. I'm planning for my retirement year.
What's the corpus that you want to collect?
Around 5 crores.
All right. So Hemant, you have the list of funds in front of you, and 5 crores is the target after 28 to 29 years.
Well, Kavita, I would say I think the overall the portfolio quality is good. But I think there's some amount of overlap, and the mid-cap segment actually is missing from the portfolio. So I think what he needs to do is kind of realign the portfolio a little bit. For example, he has invested 2,000 rupees in an index fund, which is pure large cap. Then he has excess blue chip, which is again large cap. And then he has, Kotak Flexi Cap, which predominantly invests in the large cap. So my recommendation would be that you stop investing in excess blue chip because you already have, quite healthy exposure to large cap. Include one mid-cap fund in the portfolio, which could be a Kotak Emerging Fund. It'll bring out the right balance in the portfolio, and if you want to increase your investment going forward, you can just keep increasing in the fund because you already have a small cap fund. So that will, I think, bring the right balance in the portfolio.
All right. Anything else you want to ask?
So, sir, actually, I need to change from Axis to Kotak Emerging Fund or mid-cap fund.
Yes, because your exposure to large cap is quite high looking at your overall investment. So you need to bring in one mid-cap fund because in the long run, the mid-cap fund, the quality mid-cap fund can actually give you, very good return. So you need to bring in one mid-cap, which could be a Kotak Emerging Fund, and stop your SIP and excess blue chip.
All right, Varun, thank you so much for sending us your question and all the best. We have Saikat's question from Jamshedpur. He says that is he there online with me? So this question is from Saikat, and he says that he's 35 years old and he got married 2 years back and he wants to start his investment journey. He's looking for a corpus of 5 crores after 10 to 12 years and he wants to know that where should he start investing.
Well, I think looking at his target, basically, he said time horizon is 10 to 12 years. So if you assume that his time horizon is 12 years and assuming an annualized return of 12%, because he can then invest in equity funds, he will require an investment of 1,56,000 per month to achieve the target of 5 crore. If it is not going to be possible for him to invest this money, there are two options that he has. One is to extend his time horizon by 5 years. If he does that, his monthly requirement for investment would be down to 75,000. Another option is obviously to bring his target down. So obviously he needs to kind of really rework on this if it is not going to be possible for him to invest 1,56,000. It's very important again when you're starting to invest in equity to have a well diversified portfolio. Make sure that overall you have a bias towards the large cap, but you have a good exposure to mid and small cap. So there are 4 funds that I'm recommending for him. One is the Nippon India multi-cap fund he can look at. Kotak Emerging, I just mentioned, that is another fund you can look at. And 2 funds in the large and mid-cap category, which is ICICI Pru Large and Mid and SBI Large and Mid. Have this combination and whatever amount you can start investing with, start with that and try and increase your investment over a period of time because you still have a long time to go in terms of building your corpus.
From Machiket and he says that he has 5 years time horizon and whether multi-caps would be better than flexi cap.
Well, I think first thing I would say that when you're investing in equity, your time horizon should be longer than 5 years, especially if you're investing through SIP. Because if you do SIP for 5 years, your average holding is going to be around 2.5, which is not ideal for equity. So that's one. The second part is whether multi-caps are better or the flexi cap is better. I think there are pros and cons of investing in both. When you're investing in a multi-cap fund, the fund will invest 25% in each of the market segments. That's large cap, mid cap, and small cap. And the remaining 25%, the fund manager has the liberty of choosing wherever he wants to invest. In the flexi cap, the only condition is that 65% of the money has to be in equity. So what we are seeing that most of these flexi cap funds investing predominantly in the large cap. So my recommendation would be that unless you are an investor who are okay with this much exposure through multi-cap and different segments, a combination of multi-cap and a flexi cap I think will be apt. So look for a combination of these two rather than investing predominantly in the multi-cap.
All right, with that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much, Hemant, for being on the show and helping our viewers with their financial goals. And before I sign off, I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and our email ID. This is the place where we are waiting for your queries. Anything related to mutual funds, insurance, credit card loan, cryptocurrency, tax you want to ask or get your portfolio checked by experts, WhatsApp number and email ID flashing on your screen.